Hello and thanks for joining us. Mike Gillespie, Sales Max, podcast number 9. Boy, have you ever done a meeting where you were really excited? You walked in, perfect scenario, $1 million of assets. You were able to move the money. You come out of the meeting and you just want to tell everybody? Well, tonight I had a similar experience. Haven't had one of those in a while, but I took my daughter, Mary, to the Avengers Endgame, the number one grossing movie in the history of movies. And I kind of feel vindicated. Now, why would I say that? Well, when I was a kid, back in the 60s and 70s, I used to read comic books voraciously. I was kind of an avid reader. I'd go Sundays to Mass, and then I'd walk up to Pikesville, Maryland, to Fields Pharmacy. And the money I cut from mowing grass and delivering papers, I would buy comic books and read them. Now, the good news is I was able to save about 3 feet, a stack of about 3 feet of them. I probably have a stack of about 15 feet that my mom got rid of and my dad. But the interesting thing is, and what I want to talk about today, is how things kind of worked out. If you're familiar with the Avengers, if you're familiar with Stan Lee, Marvel Comics, it was kind of a gimmick when it first came out. But yet here it is, and it's the number one grossing movie in the history of the cinema. Just amazing. And the Avengers Endgame, I feel vindicated because you know what? Why is this such a wildly successful program? And what are the parallels to our business? Well, in our business, for example, back in 1970, when this 15-cent comic book was available, it cost 15 cents. Today, these comic books cost $3. So you've seen about a 2,000% increase in the cost of a comic book. But yet, inflation, $1 back in 1970 is about $5.50 today. That's about a 650% increase in inflation. Now, the S&P 500 during that same period from 1970 went from about $90 to it's today over 3,200% return. That's about a 10.5% annual compound return. The numbers get enormous. So what we do in our business, helping people invest in the U.S. economy, in the markets, it's all worth it. But why do I want to talk about this? So we talked about the economics, and we talk about the economy, how it grows and grows and grows, even through some of the wildest and craziest times out there. So we talked about that. Now I want to talk about the social benefits of the Avengers. I'm holding this one up here from April, I think, of 1970. And this is the origin of the Black Panther. I want you to think for a second. Many of you weren't born. Probably most of you watching the podcast weren't born. But I can tell you it was a turbulent time. I can remember back in the late 60s, there was segregation, there was riots, there was inequality. It was an awful kind of time. But things kind of healed. But yet, here's this company, Marvel, promoting this superhero, this African-American superhero, the Black Panther, who is still one of my favorite characters and who had a phenomenally blockbuster movie this past summer. But who do you also see? You see women, you see people of European descent, you see people of Asian descent, you see all kinds of different things in this. This was very unusual back in 1970 because you didn't see that on the sitcoms and you didn't see that in the TV commercials and the print commercials, etc. So the social benefits we've had from this are enormous. When you take a look at the good versus bad, do the right thing. In the end, if you do the right things, things work out. So we talked about economics. We talked about the social benefits. Now I want to talk about the global economy for a second. Because when you think about it, the global economy, you've got Africans, you've got Russian, you've got Asian, you've got people not even from our planet, for goodness sakes, in these things. But again, the social themes in here, and the fact that, you know what, even the superheroes have emotional issues and anxiety, and they have problems with marriages and problems with relationships, just like everybody else. So it's just kind of funny, and I just thought it would be interesting and entertaining because we live in such a diverse, unique time frame, but yet I think we're moving in the right direction. And the golden rule, if you do the right thing, and if you treat people the way that you want to be treated, the world's going to be a much better place, not only for you, but for your kids, for your grandkids. And you know what? It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy with this, because this is kind of the world that we live in today. So what I suggest, my ask of everybody is, hey, be humble, be kind, spread good karma. We can make a difference.
And see Endgame, it's amazing.
And by the way, stop hating and start playing. Have a great week. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.